Accepting this frees you from the narcissist. As a consequence of my intelligence and awareness, the years that I have spent studying your kind, listening to your kind, observing what you do, listening to you talk about the way that you feel, the way that you have been entangled with our kind, explaining how this impacts upon you, seeing the way that it impacts upon you, understanding the way that my own manipulations operate and function with regard to you and similar people as yourselves. It has enabled me to ascertain that there is one particular thing whereby if you accept this, it will enable you to become freed from the narcissist. You will be aware from my work that what keeps a person in place with the narcissist is a combination of our need to assert control over you, meaning that where the conditions are appropriate, you will be hoovered. That our mindset that you belong to us is actioned by the repeated withdrawal, if you will, from the bank of you, whereby we return again and again and again to make a withdrawal of fuel, to assert control over you, to action the commoditization of you that has occurred. The other aspect, of course, that keeps you ensnared is your own lack of understanding about what has happened to you. And this is nothing to do with the lack of intelligence on your part, and everything to do with not understanding narcissism. Why would you understand it? You weren't taught about it in school, were you? It wasn't something that every university student was taught about. It's not something that you receive by way of an induction at work to help you deal with the workplace narcissists. It's not your parents didn't put an arm around you at an appropriate juncture and tell you, listen, there's something you need to know about relationship. There are these things called narcissists. And then, as you've happened upon such information, invariably you will have got information from those who don't understand narcissism, providing you with misleading and incomplete information. And therefore it's entirely understandable that you have not yet been equipped with the relevant tools to enable you to make that understanding of narcissism complete. Of course, with access to my work, you now have the opportunity to do that, but it doesn't end there. You, of course, need to conquer, diminish, reduce to the lowest level possible your emotional thinking, because that, powered by your addiction to narcissist, seeks to stop you from understanding, seeks to stop you utilizing logic, keep you ensnared in some form by keeping you in the 5 arenas of interaction so you keep feeding your addiction. Accordingly, this combination of our perceived ownership of you and your lack of understanding or misunderstanding of narcissism, combined with the obscuring effects of emotional thinking, create a heady brew by which your ensnarement continues. Understand, ensnarement isn't just the continuation of a formal relationship. Ensnarement continues where you spend your time thinking about what has happened. Ensnarement continues where you look to try and bring the narcissist down. Ensnarement continues where you try and fight where you have been smeared, or that you seek to expose the narcissist. Perhaps you might be trying to get the narcissist to come back into a relationship with you. Perhaps you spend your time talking about what has happened to you, dwelling on it, mulling over the good times, berating the bad times, trying to make sense of it. The ensnarement continues, because the ensnarement with the narcissist, the interaction is far wider than people realize, with the relevant consequences occasioned by such interaction, as I have explained elsewhere. One of the fundamental things that it is necessary for you to accept, which will enable yourself to free yourself from the grip of the narcissist, is to understand that somebody who has abused you could never have loved you. Whether that love was romantic, familial, whether it was a case of that person demonstrated favour, affection, liking you, perhaps in a social setting or a work setting. Anybody who has engaged in a habitual pattern of abusive, unpleasant, degrading, denigrating behaviour means They have no emotional empathy, and therefore they could not have liked or loved you in the way that you thought had happened. Many people struggle with this idea. Driven by a lack of understanding about narcissism and their own emotional thinking, they are led to the conclusion that, well, maybe some of it was real, or what happened at the beginning was genuine, something went wrong, if only we can get that back. No, you're being misled. There is no such thing as part-time narcissism. We are always narcissists. And where we are interacting with you, or thinking about doing so, a manipulation will be taking place. Sometimes it's a benign one, sometimes it's a malign one, but the manipulation will be there. And what it is necessary for you to understand, it isn't the case that when we were nice to you, we weren't being manipulative, and that was genuine. It wasn't. You were still being manipulated, but you were being manipulated in a benign manner. It wasn't the case that everything was okay and something just went wrong, but it can be remedied. It was wrong from the very beginning. It was wrong because we created an illusion. It was wrong because we lied to you, either willingly and knowingly, where greater or ultra, or unconsciously, where the narcissist was lesser or mid-range. They believe their lies are their truth. That love doesn't exist and never did exist and never will exist because you're dealing with a narcissist. It was fabricated, it was manufactured, it was created, it was synthetic. It was the trappings and appearance of love, but without the emotional empathy that is the substance of what love actually is. It is not the case that we switch our narcissism on and off, and it was off when you first met us and then was switched on when you entered into the devaluation, whether sustained or corrective. No, not at all. Many people struggle to reconcile because of that lack of understanding in the presence of emotional thinking. How could somebody treat me so brilliantly and then treat me so badly? Surely that was genuine. Surely they meant some of it. I can't understand. You have to understand. And what people do is they look at it the wrong way. They think, if that person was wonderful to me, how can they then descend into abusing me? You need to look at it the other way around. And accepting this and looking at it this way helps free you from the narcissist. You must look at it this way. The fact that this person abused me means that whatever I was shown that was lovely, enchanting, friendly, kind, loving, wasn't real, wasn't genuine, didn't exist. If this person was abusive, what came before wasn't genuine. Why? Somebody with emotional empathy, whose love is genuine, would not have abused you. Therefore, it follows that somebody who has engaged in a pattern of habitual and frequent manipulative, unpleasant treatment of you, it is impossible for them to have genuinely loved you, cared for you, been kind to you, or liked you. And you must grasp that concept. Don't look at it, it started off so brilliantly, they must have loved me and then it went wrong. Put it the other way around. The fact that they treated me so badly must mean that they never loved me in the first place. Understand that concept. Look at it that way. And that is what will start to free you from the narcissist. It will enable you to take great strides forward, because then you will realize what came before wasn't genuine. I didn't need it. I was sold an illusion. And you will dislike the narcissist all the more for that, helping you move forward to eventually eradicating any feelings towards the narcissist. Remember, we don't operate on a part-time basis. When we're interacting with you, you're being manipulated, whether good or bad. People with emotional empathy, they can, of course, do bad things. And I explain more about that in the Logic Bulletin in the Knowledge Vault, Why Am I Behaving Like a Narcissist? But people who have emotional empathy, their empathic traits keep their narcissistic ones in check most of the time. They operate with emotional empathy, which means they don't abuse people regularly or habitually. They don't give silent treatments. They don't physically injure people. They don't spit at them, rape them. They don't give them word salad, circular conversations. They don't cheat with their friends. They don't steal. They don't move in the blink of an eye. They don't take things that don't belong to them. They don't turn up uninvited. All of the abuses that you were put through, whether you were physically beaten, whether you were sexually molested, whether you were ignored, whether you were swore at, spat at, insulted, whether you had your finances taken, whether you were excluded, isolated, not provided with support, not given help with the children. Those and many other things. If those things happened on a frequent, habitual and repeated basis, that is the behaviour of somebody lacking emotional empathy, i.e. a narcissist. And therefore that means that whatever you were shown at the beginning, whether golden period or bronze period, wasn't genuine. Write it down. Write it down several times. Put it next to your mirror. Put it on your nightstand. Put it on your console table. Put it next to your kettle, so that you read this and that you pay attention to it as part of freeing yourself from the grip of the narcissist. The fact that I was abused by this person means they could not have loved me. The fact that I was abused by this person means they could not have cared for me. The fact that I was abused by this person means they were not kind to me. The fact that I was abused by this person means they didn't actually like me. Whatever type of ensnarement it was, romantic, social, work, familial, choose the appropriate words, but it always must come back to this. The fact that they abused me means that whatever came before wasn't genuine. Grasp that, accept it, and apply it, and you will become free of the narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.